I just want to start this video by saying that I liked beer bongs and Bentleys just as much as the next guy. But mother of God, what is this? What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. I am Gabriel Fast. I am the wannabe critic. Please slap like on this video, leave a comment, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I am just a wannabe. I'm just throwing my own thoughts and opinions out there, just trying to get y'all worked up. Today we're talking about Post Malone's new album. It's called Hollywood's Bleeding. I'm just gonna start out by saying I did not like this album as a whole. And I also don't want to try and say that I don't think that Post Malone is a talented dude, because it's obvious that he is. He has a very interesting voice. I've seen him play guitar. I've seen him sing in live videos, and it's kind of interesting the effects that they've done in the past kind of mesh really well with his vocals. It just feels like they took it a little too far on this album. I'm kind of confused because do they want him to be a rap star or a pop star? Because this album, to me, is very much mindless pop music. The theme of his previous albums, you know, it was not like it was a super deep meaning to those albums. It was pretty much just like self-destructive, party mode, just trying to get through life. Whereas this just feels like the commercial success has kind of taken over at this point. There's just not much depth to this album. There are good songs on it, but that's not enough to warrant a good album review from me, just because it just feels super inconsistent. There's 17 songs on this album, and it's a little under an hour long, but it feels way longer than that. You have probably one of the most boring first halves to any album I've ever heard in my entire life, and by the time you get to the second half of the album, if you could make it through the first half of the album, the songs still just don't even really resonate that much to me. There are a couple of songs that do fit in with Post Malone's, you know, sorrowful crooning and things like that. It just doesn't feel right. The album as a whole just doesn't feel right to me. It kind of feels like they've kind of gone the Drake approach. We're just gonna recycle some beats and some vibes and slap that on the next record. It's literally exactly what it was, but there's nothing to it. There's no depth. It doesn't make me feel anything. It's just background noise. There are some features on this track that are good, and I think those might be the most memorable tracks in my opinion. Ozzy Osbourne's on a track on this album, which is kind of crazy. I know that Post Malone is kind of like a rock bro, but still, the features either are good or they feel like they don't belong. So that's a weird mix to have that. And there are a couple of features where it just borderline they steal the show. The good songs on the album aren't good enough to keep me wanting to get through the entire album to get to those songs. There are a couple songs that I would definitely put like on a rap mix, which I don't even really listen to rap anymore because I feel like good rap music died a really long time ago, like before I was born. It just feels like it's all about the same stuff nowadays. It just doesn't matter that much. It's just not good. I guess it's just a tired genre for me. This isn't even really rap music. It's pop music most of the time. I'm not one to hate on a good pop record. It has to be good. Pop music can be good if it has meaning behind it, if it has heart, if it still speaks to you. This just does nothing. It does nothing for me. There's so much to say, so it's hard to kind of pick what I want to put into this review. Not to mention that Sunflower came out, last year? Sway Lee steals the show on that song. That the whole reason that song is any good is because of Sway Lee, because Sway Lee is singing the entire time. It's not Post Malone singing on that song, just so you know. It's almost like Post Malone is a feature in his own song. It's weird. So for those of you who think that Post Malone is singing on that song, you're wrong! There are live videos of him singing it, but on the album, that is Sway Lee. And this album takes that exact same vibe, that exact same beat, and literally just recycles it. It's like I'm listening to a Red Hot Chili Peppers record. The Chili Peppers have made less sense, but made me feel more, to where it didn't feel cheap. That's probably a bad analogy and a bad comparison, but at the same time, I think you get what I'm saying. There's no substance to it. It's just recycled, the same stuff. They're just trying to get you to want to listen to the record whenever there's nothing really there. It's like watching somebody ride a wave. It's nice that Post Malone has gotten himself to a point where he can be on that wave. He's on the climb, right? Now, as a bystander watching from afar, you're like, that's cool. I don't gotta like it. I mean, you can appreciate it without having to like that. So as you can tell, I'm kind of sour about this album. Key tracks for me would probably have to be Circles and Internet. 2 songs out of 17. For me personally, I don't want to come out and say that this album is not good, because that's subjective. Music's subjective. If you like it, that's cool. I'd love to hear why. But for me, this album just made me feel nothing as an overall experience. So I'm going to have to give it a 5 out of 10. Post Malone, he's a very talented dude. This album just isn't for me. Everyone has to have a stinker every once in a while, I guess. What did you think of my review? Was it cohesive enough? I mean, did it make sense? Are you vibing with the same things that I'm thinking? Because I don't have anything written down for this album. I'm literally just going off of what was in my mind at the time. I've listened to this album 3 times. The past few times when I've made these videos, I literally give you my reaction the very first listen from these albums. But this one, I felt like it was just so long, and I had to really give it the attention to detail that this review would deserve, and I still somehow ended up kind of jumbling my thoughts around. But anyways, please like, comment, subscribe, let me know how you feel. I'm not hating on Post Malone, I'm hating on the album. So, thank you for preparing yourself for a plethora of hot takes and potentially unpopular opinions. I am Gabriel Fast. I will always be the wannabe critic.